You know what you're going through. So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you think about? What do you think about the tunnel situation?
I have no idea.
Oh, you haven't heard about
I
it?
just saw a dude. I saw a dude come up out of the tunnel,
Oh man, so that was a
but I
good one.
had sworn. The thing is, I had sworn I'd seen that video like a couple of years before. It
Yeah.
was an old video,
Now,
but they're showing
mhm.
this is like supposed to be like beeping over tunnels and whatever. I have no idea what's going on.
Right. It's saying no. Okay. So, what basically happened was they had this. There was a tunnel system that had been being designed under their head organization. So, their headquarters. This is
Like,
like a historical headquarters in their place. It's
mm-hmm.
called the Habeb Lubavitcher. I always say it wrong, but let me see if I can bring it up. So I can bring it up. I have it on here set somewhere. Let me see. Me checking my tabs. I got this set up somewhere. So let's see if I can bring it up. Here we go. Tunnel under the synagogue. Check this out. Listen to this right here. Tell me what you think about this. Oh yeah, we're live.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
What do you want? Because you don't do shit, Paul.
Eight feet wide, 5 feet tall. Listen to what she says. All right, so what they're basically saying is, in their storyline, how they breaking it down is this. There was bad support for these buildings, and then they reported it, and then the people came out to fill it up, and then some of the other brothers from the I always say it wrong, whatever they are, Hispanic. I forgot how to say it, but whatever they are, they have a big ass issue with it. So what they're saying online, what they're showing us on TV is this one group, this one nation of people, as you seen throwing, they see them all out in public. You see all men. You see them all out here. You see them all inside the buildings. Everything you watch, you see it all, right? But they didn't know that there was a tunnel that was being built right on the side. If you seen when they were fighting and they pulled back the thing, or what they said was they said that the people inside who were building, who wanted the tunnels, were knocking it down, right? But in totality, how did you build the tunnels there in the first place without hearing that? And it's a synagogue. They've been fighting over being able to construct tunnels based on with their synagogue for all this time. 10 years they were talking about this real estate thing going on. Meanwhile, back in camp, they're building this thing, and it's not like they're building it. From what we've seen thus far, I mean, you know, clothes and mattresses and baby stuff in there. You seen a Modell's bottle, you seen a chair, but I guess it's what you seen in there is what was troubling. That's where people started speculating on, the child sex smuggling ring, and I wouldn't touch that because there's no evidence to even put that on that 8 people or anybody for that matter. Was enough information, but it definitely looks kind of, looks a little kind of weird from my perspective. What about what you think? So you ain't watching it, you just listening. But what you think, Mo?
Child sex smuggling ring.
Go see your
I
spot.
wouldn't touch that because there's no evidence to even put that on that.
Oh, you listening to it out loud, so it's feedbacking in me.
But it definitely
I'm
looks
sorry, I'm listening to you. All right, so there's the group of men that everybody sees. They had nothing to do with a tunnel. It was just another group of men in there. And then when they found out that their buildings were, out of shape because somebody was burrowing underneath, they decided to go fill it. And then the other group came like, yo, don't fill this up or whatever. That's the problem?
Nah, I don't think that was the issue. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. So tunnels in
I'm sorry, I was messing with Django.
See, I think my biggest issue with the whole situation was this, right? First and foremost, just look at it. Just look at it from the aspect of this is our family compound, and where our most historic synagogue is at, our place of worship. There's other videos I'm gonna pull up later that you could probably see that they have their whole telephone system. They literally have their own system because they're a sovereign people. So they're not ran by the corporation of America. They are their own entity as a people. So that's why they have their own cops. That's why you see them fighting the officers. If that was some black guys, imagine the Israelites, the black Israelites going off. Swinging on officers. You think some gunshots wouldn't have went off? Some assholes got whooped. They maced a few of them. But in reality is that these people have placed themselves in a situation that benefits them. And this building, this synagogue with this tunnel under it, all that does to me is make me go, listen, hold up. I listen to everybody's talk. I listen to how they displayed it, and their reasoning of telling us this is because the tunnels are unsafe for the housing and the buildings around it.
Right.
And this was the argument. This is the reason why it was being brung up, because it's unsafe for the buildings around it. Now,
right,
for them to be building this synagogue, for them to be building these tunnels all this time, you're not telling me the people upstairs, next door, the tunnels that they're building into the basements next door, could not hear the demolition sounds that were coming through. There's no way that's your synagogue. This is on your street. If you go look at it from the outside perspective, here, let me see if I got my street view of it. Here it is, right here. Right? So, watch this.
Oh, so you're thinking everybody in the neighborhood knew what the fuck was going on?
Right. I think everybody knew what was going on.
How was it discovered then? Who called it in?
They said that the head leaders of the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters called in. They said the leaders called in, reporting it. My point is, okay, they called and reporting it. I'm going, well, how you didn't know it was there all this time that now you just recently called and reported it, and now it becomes an issue when the people are coming to fill it. Because if you called these people, then your congregation knew that they were coming to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
So then what is the uproar about?
Like fill it in, as in like fix it and fill it in?
Well, the weird part is that they said they're going to just fill it in with concrete. So,
right.
To me, I'm going, hold up. They got these tunnels down there, 8 feet wide, 60 feet long, 8 feet wide, 5 feet high. We've seen various pictures of these places, and this is their building right here, where their headquarters is.
Are you live right now?
Yeah, I'm live. We're kicking it. So I wanted to get right here because this is where it's at. Every time I zoom in, I move.
Am I live right now?
Yes, you're definitely live right now. You're definitely live right now.
Hey, people.
Yeah, hey people. That's Mo 3 times in the building from talking shit, getting clicks.
What's good?
We gotta put that link back in there. It's just me and you in here rocking right now, which is cool. They can go back and watch this later. This wasn't, the schedule system didn't work the way it was supposed to. But
watch.
Hey,
when I heard the beat, sometimes what am I doing? That's not the dance.
hey, you can do what you got to do. I don't care. But their building is labeled when you do Google, when you go to look for Google and you put it in. Now, like I said, I showed you. It clearly comes up as Religious Organization 770 Eastern Parkway. When we go here to where it's located at, when we back up, let's get back to it. Here we go. Look at the number of the building.
Is that a 666?
Yes, it
What are
is,
we
sir.
looking at here?
Yes, it is, sir.
Oh, I guessed it.
You see it? You see it?
No, I don't see it.
All right, but see, look. Okay, go ahead.
Live says it's coming up. So
Why did you believe that?
We're on the Vlogo show. You're on the Vlogo show. All right, let me mute. All right, so I'm looking at the building, and it says 666 is Chabad Heights.
Right.
Now, that's an interesting conversation because as we know, we've always grown up that 666 is that devil. It's the sign of the devil. But then we're finding that numbers such as 3, 6, and 9 have a supreme relationship when it comes to manifestation.
Exactly.
And making beautiful things, making both beautiful and ugly things, I would say, happen. The force is the force.
Listen. When I was digging through this earlier, that's why I say I think things happen for a reason. It was meant for this to happen this way, right? But I was going through this all day. I'm looking at it, and it bothered me.
How many sides are on that star? How many sides are on that star?
What, the 6-point star?
Oh, my goodness.
Because they deal with the 6-point star. Now, like you said, that's a lot of research when you start getting into the 6-point stars. You start talking about, numbers and things of that nature, frequencies, because that gets real deep. But I'm just going on the topic of so they were building tunnels under their own establishment, coming from one building to the next, going across the synagogue. They had never went into the synagogue, so they had never damaged the synagogue. So all this time that they had been developing this thing, all this time, there was no call.
And it was not connected to the synagogue at all?
Right next to the synagogue. Let me pull it back up. Let me pull it. I'm gonna show you where it was at. No, inside.
Oh,
it was inside.
Underneath.
Inside their actual synagogue, they broke the wall. Let me show you this. Let me pull this up for you. See if they got a video up here.
Pull it up. Let's see this.
Let's see. New York synagogues. Let's back this up a little bit. Let's go. Let's stop right there, though. Now, you heard what they said, right?
50 foot long?
60 feet long, 8 feet wide, 5 feet high. And
does it run east? Does it run perpendicular to the houses underneath? Does it go underneath the street to another house?
It goes to what they had exposed to us thus far was that we definitely know, based off of what they said for a fact, was that it definitely went into the basement of one of the buildings next to it. Now remember, I just showed you the whole city. That whole city, that whole area, their whole area. You know, that's their community. It's not our community.
Right.
So this is something of your own.
That was going to be my next question. Now, like, how many blocks are they owning there?
Okay, so now that's where we get back to the map. All right, so now we get back to this map. That's why I back up a little bit. Now watch this. All these different places that we're talking about. Let's see if it pops it in there like it had before. Okay, so let's put this here. This whole block from, it looks like about, I don't want to say the Atlantic, but all of this is Jewish community. See, look.
The entire thing?
Look. All of this, the Crown Heights, all of this. Look, the mosque, because the guy that they were referencing to earlier, this guy, got this whole connected thing. Where's Rabbi? The Rabbi, where is he at? I had to find his name. I had him in here earlier. But the guy who created the whole Shadish, I hate it because I had all of this in my files. Let me see something. Let me see if I can pull it up in here. Where is that? Tunnels, settings. Here we go. Got him right here. So here it goes. This guy right here. I don't know how to say his name.
Woodrow Wilson?
No. He's here now. Because you're on the phone with me too. So you're on the phone with me. So you're seeing that a little bit better.
I know.
All right. So Lubavitch Rabbi, the Lubavitch, it's a pitch Vich, the Lubavitch Rebbe or Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson.
Mendel Schneerson.
Okay, so this guy right here, he was born in 2002 and died in 1994. It's a nice story about him. He's from Russia. It's about how he got married, who he got married to. He was very well versed in the Kabbalah and the Torah subjects. He was well renowned in the Torah subjects as far as their people felt. And so,
do you know where he's from?
He's originally from Russia.
Mykolaiv. You know where that is currently?
Where? Ukraine?
That's Ukraine.
But it used to be Russia. Right. Now, because this gets deep because you're talking about at this time. Remember, you got the wars, Russia, the Soviet Union, as we have now with Ukraine fighting for land and space. So it's easy to understand why at that time it was Russia. At this time it's whatever, right? If we have to do some real digging. But the key thing is about every time I went to go look this up, it was always coming from a Jewish perspective. Everybody who was speaking, it was Jewish friendly or Jewish, because I was looking for somebody against to see what the opponent might have been saying. But everything seemed to be very
was critical to the tunnel.
No, just critical because what I wanted to do back was saying the reason that these people used for the fight within itself was that they said that a faction of their youth believed that their Messiah, the last rabbi who passed in 94, that it was his will to have these tunnels built. And so they're fighting and have been fighting and arguing about this for a while, for what's being promoted as a actual story. Because this all lines up to them saying, okay, well, in the end, you told the city about it. Now the city has to come and feel it. And now all these people are coming out in an uproar about it. So now are you saying that the leaders secretly told and then now, the news is telling on them? Or to me, was all this
basically
staged?
Yeah. Like we want this, we want a certain thing done, and we're going to use the media and the police as a tool to get our agenda done. So what is the reason for them filling the hole? It seems to me like if the hole was used for, maybe nefarious reasons,
it could be.
Filling in that hole would be a good thing. But then, part of me could be like, hey, filling in that hole could be, destroying evidence.
Right.
If something nefarious down there happened. Like, I think before, well, I don't know if it's just been filled up and it hasn't been fully concreted in or whatnot, but they need to get some people down there to dig, do a little excavating, run a couple machines down there, run a couple of them X-ray things down there, and you know, see if they can find anything, you know.
I heard. So what they said was that, like with the mattress, for instance, they were reporting it was blood on the mattress. When they showed the picture of the mattress we seen, it looked like it was it looked like it was a doo-doo stain. It could have been a blood stain. That's based off of what other people were saying it was.
Right,
but
blood dries up.
I mean, like you said, I guess for us, we're looking at it from a perspective.
They could have been running. That could have been like barracks for secret ops. You know, they could have been running night missions and coming back there.
I think that they had been built this. They got to a point where they just dug to the point where it was messing up the structure, and they knew they were going to need the city to come in and fix it. And so the story comes out about there's a beef between this community that they chose to dig this tunnel, because this is the problem I'm having. You chose to dig this tunnel. You see the picture. They're literally standing in the wall. They're in the wall. They're in the part that they broke apart. It was some wood siding, wood panel in the siding that was blocking that. So there is no installation. There is nothing for soundproofing. They are hearing this. You're hearing people walk through there.
They allowed them to make this.
Exactly. And I think tunneling might have went wrong. I think tunneling could have went wrong.
Somebody could have got hurt, and that's where that blood came from. And they were like, "Look, this is too much."
Now we need somebody to come in here and fix it.
Well, then, then my only issue as a taxpayer, not as the city or whatever, because that's the whole city. That tunnel, like you said, it's probably been there for a while. They know what was going on. They didn't have experts building it. And they messed up, and they were like, "Hey, all right, we'll get the city now to fix our." They need to have some type of payback to the city. They should be fined or something like that.
Right.
There definitely needs to be an investigation of that tunnel, and then they need to investigate, find out who's responsible for being fined for paying for that tunnel.
Yo, look, what they did was. I think they arrested as a total of, it was 9 at one point. I heard 12. So they arrested a hand group of guys. They showed the police macing them back because they were acting crazy and flipping chairs and acting rambunctious. And the police, they did a pretty good job, especially knowing where they at, knowing the situations. They maced some of the guys back. But to me, I'm just looking at this as a whole, as a human being. As who they are or supposed to be in society, or how they're held. And I'm going, all you seen in the tunnel was cribs. You seen the high chair. You seen the swinging chairs. You seen a lot of baby. They were speaking of baby clothes and baby stuff, and you know. So it's like, what were you moving through there that has to do with babies? It didn't look like it was some clean conditioned spot. Maybe they only showed us the dirty spots. Because you know how news is. They're only going to show what they want to show. Kind of like with the Puffy allegations. They only put out what they want to put out. Everything else we can speculate on. But these are people these are controlled people by themselves. They control themselves. So they.
Yeah.
And then you got to think about this. Go ahead. What you was going to say?
They're a sect. I mean, they could be they're just a sect like that's like, I don't know. Remember the MOVE movement?
Yeah, that's definitely.
It's
and
something that, you know, as it happened, we're thinking of, people's constitutional rights, the way that, law enforcement interacts with people who live outside, just on the fringes of society, if you will. We don't even have, before we can even go and make it a race issue, or the first time or second official time that America has actually dropped bombs on the citizens. Once was in I don't remember, the Black Wall Street. They did it, and they didn't drop a bomb, but they exploded a bomb with that guy in Dallas. Anyway, I just go on to say like these people are on the fringe of society, and then we can go to the white side. They did it at Ruby Ridge. Like, you're trying to, tell people how they should live on that land. But at the same time, this is what I'm thinking. Ruby Ridge, the Move movement, perhaps these people's property should be impounded.
I like that. I like that. Yes, because you are on federal land. You're still on federal land. Now, it gets deep when it comes to them being a sovereign nation. You got to think about it, right? Now, let's dig, because this is where I was going. I was going next with it. So that's why I had brung up some things of Hitler. I'll probably bring that up. But you got to remember this, right? The banking system. You did a report on this. You did a report on this about the book, as we all know, The Creature from Jekyll Island.
Yeah.
And how it was funded and how it was created. Now, we know Woodrow Wilson is the one who brung it in 1913, who brung it to America as a way of fixing the banking system. But the fractional reserve system was developed by Paul Warburg. And Paul Warburg was a Jewish German gentleman with the Rothschilds, P. Davidson, Nelson Eldridge.
Are we talking about fractional reserve?
Exactly, because this was implemented in America in 1913.
So basically, but before then, it all started with money lending, right?
Right. This was Hitler's issue when they lost the war.
What Paul Warburg did was he was a goat because he created, other than money lending, he created the first banking product. And ever since then, the greatest ones create banking products. That's how we get all of these derivatives that people can barely understand. And we get into the problem of, the great collapse in 2008. And then up till right now, what we're going through with this new depression. So, they set a nice little a trap there for it to keep happening, and we keep repeating this history over and over and over and over and over again. I don't think the banking system history is quite as obvious as other histories that we completely take for loose.
Right.
But it's one of those things, and I don't know. The way it's been going.
Let me check something out.
To me, how are we going to? I think people are opening up their eyes.
They are, definitely.
I think that social media, the internet, shows like the P.O.E. cast, shows like the we episodes, talking shit, getting clips, do self-plug most of the time, and but I think like we can get together and each one reach one, teach one, and keep it moving forward, because I am seeing the post right now of people just questioning taxes. Bro, we work, we pay money to get to work that we're taxed on. We get taxed on the money that we make, and then when we go buy products with the money that we're taxed on that we make, we're taxed again. And then each and every year, the government has the nerve to tell us that we got to report our taxes, even though how much fucking money we make and everything like that. And we got to go through a math class each and every year.
Let me show you something real quick. Let me pull something up real quick, and I'm going to show you something I want you to look at real fast, right? Okay, so this one says, why did Adolf Hitler hate the Jews? The surprising origin of hatred, right? And I'm not going to divulge through too much of it. I'm going to hit a lot of the things that they said that was the reasons of why. Hitler's hatred was heavily influenced by his personal experiences, failing as a young artist in Vienna. Is that Vinay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What?
He is Vienna, excuse me. He associated Jews with
He's from Austria, yeah.
True indeed. He said, well, his family are Austrian Jews. Austrian Jews. Okay, so he associated Jews with his own setbacks, believing they held too much power in certain areas, such as art and economics. Okay. Additionally, he was further incensed by the B'nai and Bereth, if I said that correctly, a Jewish fraternal charity, which he saw as a secretive and powerful force. Now,
Right.
you know, they go on to say that moreover Hitler was found inspiration in obsessive ideologies like racial eugenics and a distorted version of, I don't know what that is, Nietzsche theory of Übermensch. I don't know. But
He's a philosopher.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Greek.
But he constructed his worldviews. He constructed his worldviews, one that prioritizes Aryan racial purity and ruthless competition, leading him to consider Jews as a racial threat to them. To the German nation. Searching for an easy target, Hitler seized on the Jews as an scapegoat, falsely blaming them for Germany's problems, such as the nation's defeat in World War I and the subsequent economic hardship in do so. He redirected his German public attention away from the real issues and onto the Jewish community. So,
I think it's kind of crazy, though, because like when we go there and when we start talking about these things, like these subjects, as soon as you hear them, when you even utter the word Jew or Jewish, and then you put it in the same sentence as Hitler, and you're right above your head, it says Hitler's anti-Semitism. Like these themes, ring out and grip for people's emotions to the point where sometimes you don't listen to the information that's being given.
right.
Now, to me with this, I always think that when they, like time and time again, the Jewish people will say this, but they will say that they have been used as a scapegoat time and time again. And for that, I can agree with them. Because when we even talking about the history of the banking system, you're talking about a simple family. A family. It could have been any type of family that came up with this idea. They could have been a Catholic, even though we know the Catholics had got a little reign on the banking system. Mm-hmm. They could have been ethnic Norwegian. They could have been Indian. They could have been fucking anything. You know what I mean? Right. And then we would probably, if it was ran the same way, we would be probably blaming a whole nother group of people.
Okay.
I say that because, like, my ultimate goal and belief of how we're going to get through all of this bullshit that's being thrown at us, and that, we're being just bombarded with, financially, spiritually, educationally,
I'm going to put your link in.
Health-wise.
Yeah.
Like all this shit that they put us through, the last thing I want to do is say something that would make people turn away from the greater message of what we're trying to say. Okay. And I think what we're trying to say here, I know what I'm trying to say on my show. I think I would be correct in speaking for you is that, there are evil fucking forces out there. And they come in all shapes, sizes, genders. Some have male parts, some have female parts, some have both parts. They come from all groups, all different walks of life, but they all want the same thing. They want money, they want power, and that's great, but they don't give a fuck who they step on to get it.
I agree.
It. If you play basketball, you're going to find a lot of tall brothers with good hand-eye coordination. If you play football, you're going to see a lot of, stocky, well-built, physical guys out there. You're going to see it tight. If you get into this banking and financial business where you're dealing with and capitalism, there are some good things and there's bad things about everything. But once you get into this, there are certain qualities and attributes that they all have, and it borders on psychosis. That's what it is. Psychosis. So the first thing you say to yourself when you wake up is that, money is not real. It's not real. This is what the psychosis guys know, too. They know it. They just see it in a different way. It's not real.
Well, let me ask you this question.
You can get what you mean.
think about this, right?
Right.
So we
Only thing I want to say is that, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanna bring it full circle. Like, only thing I just want to say is that, like, when we're bringing up, like, Jews and Hitler, it's just not like that. I think that story needs to be told. We need to start, like when we get on Kanye, start naming names, which he did do, but start naming names and pointing people out for who they are. Stop taking the entire group, and because they did some fuck shit, we're going to blame them for all the fuckery and our lot in life or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So, no, the Jews do not control the fucking world. There are some people that happen to be Jewish that are in that cabal. But I'm sure there's a nigga that looks like OJ, but that's not OJ. And, you know, we probably see him on the news every now and then, and the black people would say, oh, man, he's doing good. He's getting that bag. I'm pretty sure he's in that cabal, too.
Listen, all right. Let me ask you this, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's just think about the birth of America, because when you start thinking about a lot of this information, right? So we're talking about Hitler was born when, let's see when he was born. Because I was looking at the dates and times of these people and their births. The late 1800s, and he died with 1941 or committed suicide or whatever they said. Okay, right now.
Nietzsche coining his phrase Ubermensch, and probably like that late 1800s, around the 1880 time frame, and this is what he's reading, and this is what he's picking up.
Right.
This is his like a nigga is going to read Jordan Peterson's book or a Joe Rogan's book, and they're going to create fucking political philosophy out of it for good or bad. That's just what happens as people.
Yo, no, you know what my thing was? I was doing a lot of research to this late. Like I said, I got so far to go, but this was earlier today. I really got intrigued in this, right? And so the Rabbi Mendel Schneerson, whatever the guy's name, I'm sorry for mispronouncing it because I don't know how to pronounce it. He was born in 1902 and he died in 1994. Let me see if I got him up here, because I put him up here earlier. Okay, now in 1913, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Act in December of 1913, right? Now, what people don't understand about the fractional reserve system is this right here. This book, if you want to read on it, or you can even watch or listen to it on audio, it explains.
Yeah, go to YouTube.
It explains the formation of the fractional reserve system. So they tell you exactly how it was created, where it was created, and who was a part of it, and break down the whole history and the story, right? Because you got to remember, all of this is happening in America while it's already going on throughout the wars with World War I. This is if you start tracing back history to the time that Hitler's born and what he's talking about, to the time that the rabbi's born, where he's talking about Paul Warburg,
right.
The Rockefellers. When you start looking at when they were coming up and what was going on in their time, everything was about banking. America had three banks that had fell because they could not keep the banking situation fluctuating. Everything started falling off when you started dealing with giving out credit and doing all these other things, right? So they break it down and they tell you that Paul Warburg came up with a system, and they consider him to be the head guy. I think he was the second chairman under it when it was created, who created the system. And it basically what it allowed them to do was fund whoever they chose to fund. America got funded next. Right, because that's what Hitler was saying. Like, yo, we already had. Maybe he didn't have no issues to him when he got to the top, and he like trying to get this money after the war dropped out. They trying to get this money to fund, and they ain't giving him the loans. They hitting him with the numbers. So now he complaining because now maybe they bankers. They looking saying, no, you're not about to rob me. Your numbers don't make no sense. So he just happens to go get his own army, just how any other gangs or things start around here, Crips, Bloods, Transformers, Decepticons, whatever it is. They started a movement, and it had to be enough going on to grab that many people who understood whatever the movement was. So the same movement that they used with Hamas.
And the movement got powerful because it was absorbed by an already existing movement, and it transformed, kind of like things that happen in America lately.
All it is, when you start breaking down into the history of it, there is a history line of all of it. The problem, I think, the problem that most people are having, that we're having, is just messed me up. But the problem that most people, I'm lost. I lost my trail of thought. He just messed me up. Trail of thought. I don't know.
Parts, some have female parts, some have both parts. They come. I equated Hitler's rise to Make America Great Again.
Yeah, it's playing over
Actually, it's a national.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. That Flash is in the building.
Like a nationalist, nation's first type of vibe to it. It's kind of reminiscent of the things that I've learned in history class and in watching Mad Ken Burns documentaries on World War II.
Right.
Don't do that.
I'm not. No, I'm with you.
But like honestly, like I think that you should be able to have those conversations. You should be able to have an honest conversation about Hitler. You want to know why? Because I just watched Napoleon, and it occurred to me that on the real, if you kill enough people, it's a lucrative business.
Listen, people keep forgetting that you just, like you said, the Jewish nation, let's call them the Jewish nation, is a nation of people. Like the American nation is a nation of people. You have all different types of walks, beliefs, traits. You just like Christianity, you have it in Judaism, right? So within their own community, which is a real secreted community to the world, well, to America at least, because we're not prone to have that information thrown to us all the time. Other countries have their own information, but us, we don't have that given to us like bread, water, and milk about how our structure of our country became who it is and why these people. We're just told that we can't question, we can't do, and it takes a certain amount of power that you have to be able to influence that. And if the fractional reserve system is a bunch of families who are now, when we let's look at the national debt. Let's look at the national debt right now. Let's pull that up. National debt. National debt. I'm using one finger here. The national debt, national debt. Do I got to go through all that? National debt. Let's see what it is. Let's see if I get it. Nope, getting some old weird guy. The national debt. What is the national debt? We want to know what the national debt is. Should I be looking somewhere else? Where should I look to find the national debt, the numbers? Trade Commission?
National debt.
Yeah, what's the national debt? Yeah, let me be back out here. Let's try it again. Live time.
The national debt is currently at 34.06 trillion in federal debt.
And the federal debt is
34 trillion.
Okay, so here we go. We got the clock right here. Let's bring this up right fast. Okay. So here we go. U.S. total national debt, as he just broke down to you, I see here 188 trillion 950 billion 297 million, and some numbers moving at this very breaking speed. Now the national debt is who do we owe this debt to? The people who are giving us the loans, which would be the fractional reserve system. This is why you have birth certificates. This is what 1933 was about, when you had the crash and all these things happening. What was that? Was that 1933? Yeah. But you had the crash. This is where birth certificates and social security cards coming from, because this is where the people who were actual sovereign people, each state was a sovereign state. They chose to become united as one. And the people became the backing for each state. This is why we have our electives and all of these things that we have, right? But they created this structure so that we will be accustomed to being no Vaseline, so to speak. Because this national debt that we're talking about is owed to the fractional reserve, the Federal Reserve System, which most people don't understand is not a federal entity of the government. It is a banking system that is loaning America money, time, and all of this. And it is ran by the influential families that we named, and most of them are Jewish. And a few American families that studied over there, like, what's the guy named J.B. Morgan, who went and they studied over there. When we were just recently looking, I had a clip up of a guy who was breaking down everybody who was either Jewish themselves or had dual citizenship in that state, and they have very many influential positions in the government, right? So now these are people who are influential, and I'm not arguing, I'm not getting mad at it, I'm not, because it ain't the whole people. It's a corporate group of people who are funded on. To me, it's all slavery. They're all slave owners. We're all slaves. They're slave owners.
But, right.
So
that's why I brought up Napoleon.
Exactly.
Because the Battle of Waterloo was actually seen as the birthday of modern sovereign debt markets.
Oh, I didn't. I forgot to bring it up for this guys.
Like the bankers in London, and who would have been the head bankers in London? The head bankers in London paid a whole bunch of money to its allies in Austria and Russia and Prussia to fight against France, and France was basically fighting against,
right. But so all right. So
that type of rule.
The point is this is all about. Go ahead. What you going to say?
If we're connecting it, they wittingly paid basically Austria, who lives in Austria, large number of groups, Prussia and Russia, where possibly from countries that are now called Ukraine with high populations of a certain group of people.
Okay.
And they actually were paid and sent. So these people sent their own people to go fight these wars. And when you go fight wars, you don't say, hey, I'm fighting this war so we can set up national debt in different markets in other countries. We're going to fight this war because it's patriotism, and we need to save our country, and we need to protect this. And you send 100,000 men, most of them Jewish men, to go fight Napoleon. Once again, those people on that battlefield didn't know. They thought they were fighting for their homeland country. But you know what it does too? It helps to keep that whole notion going of these people run the world and this whole entire group run the world, when really this whole entire group got fucked over by a very prominent family of their group. It happens to black people all the time, bro.
Exactly.
We get fucked over by our own all the time.
Exactly. All we're seeing right now is the chickens come home to roost for their people. Little things, they get little things settled.
People all the time. Everybody.
Right, and it's sad because it's sad because it's a blessing, because when you have to focus on a group of people and see the separation in them, and we understand that they are a people, a nation, a group, just like African Americans, like Africans, like Asians, right? They're a group, and they have their business tight knit because they had understood that they come with a mindset of, we must dominate and everybody must fall to us and our family. And they go and they use the biblical scriptures, they use the Torah to support these things, right? Because the land of Canaan, who was supposed to be given to Abraham and all of his descendants thereafter, would be their land. And so this is the argument and fight that is in biblical scripture that we're watching happen with Hamas now. So and again, look how Trump literally just made Israel an actual state in his presidency. And as you see,
the capital. Exactly.
So now, once once you are recognizing them as this, now you're allowing that people to grow. I think what's funny to me is, why would they want to come to the top when they've always been in control? Wouldn't that be the fall of their own? Not the people in general, but the ones that are the system, the ones who are at the top in that class of speaking. Like you're coming to the point where you want to be looked at and loved and lowered as a place, a state, a land, and honor that, which now is going to bring what? Because your backing is only you're losing your back. Your biggest debtor, which is America, is your muscle. That's why when we spoke about how could Hamas get these people and kidnap these children with the system that they claimed that they had to be able to monitor the world. They have the best system ever. This didn't happen overnight. It was planned. How did you I'm looking at this going, you got to sacrifice a few pawns. This is in the making. All this needs to happen so that so that whatever, if it's a religious thing, if it's just a angel thing, alien thing, whatever the reason is, that there is a fight to claim dominance over other people, not yourself. There is a movement of people who are fighting to dominate and control everybody else. And that's all I'm seeing. Just like I see with the Puffy situation and the government and everything else. So a whole bunch of influential people in places fighting to get what they want. And it has nothing to do with the little guy. No matter what you are, where you come from. Whether you're Jewish or Gentile. It doesn't matter.
The little guy, we're just, we're collateral.
You're collateral.
We are inventory.
If you have a state, the state's still going to need workers. They're going to need you to go plow. They're going to need you to be a part of the military. They're going to have to do the same thing that America's already done. America was nothing more than the face. I think America was the face. I mean, you have robots, but until those in position lose to their own creation, as of right now, we're actually about to witness the fall. You know how they say the sun gets very, very hot and bright before it turns into a black hole? That's what I'm seeing. That's what I see happening. I see that now it's coming to the point where we're stepping on the world and claiming ours. We don't need America. We don't need anybody because we really own America. Because once they step all the way out, they gonna show who we already know. They got America. They got America's in their back pocket. We know it. Our kids, our children are in their pocket. Our blood, sweat, and tears.
What are you talking about?
Think about this, bro.
They don't care about America. They want the world. It's a new world order.
But you need a war. You need another war, and the war is who are you sending to fight your war? America. I'm just speaking in real time. This is who you're sending to fight your war. This is who you're coming to. The UK can't do nothing. You need America.
What are they fighting against?
They're fighting against anyone who is stopping them from doing what they feel needs to be done. Right now, they're like, yo, we crushing our enemy. Once we crush our enemy and get him up out of here, then we gonna go to the next step. We can just see that
so
step.
It's like business.
This is just business. They're on this is a movement.
Bottom line, you gotta go.
You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go.
And they do it efficiently.
And, no, we're just getting to witness it in their situation. We're witnessing everybody else. We see everybody fighting. We're actually getting to witness now them being exposed, and they're doing it to themselves. Like you actually had to call and tell that there was tunnels in here because y'all messed it up so much, and you knew that you needed to bring people in and have it funded and paid for. Because how can you explain to the United States federal government or why you having all this construction stuff going on in this community, buildings falling down? So business-wise, you need it done. Think about what they said about the Twin Towers. That wasn't no lie.
I don't know.
Think about the Twin Towers.
I'm still kind of getting the sense that I'm just saying I don't understand what. And please make the connection for me, or just tell me where I'm missing it. I might not be hearing everything correctly.
Okay.
How can we bring this full circle that we're tying in this tunnel that sounds that you needed access to go through a synagogue to get to? Like, how are we tying that into the Federal Reserve?
Okay. So where I took this from was I took a piece of what just happened. They made news, and I'm just looking at the actual events as they are, not from an emotional standpoint. I'm just going, hold up. They got people crawling out of holes behind newspaper dispensers and creeping out of corners and all this in their own city. But this is a city that's ran and dominated by Jewish men, not women. The women have rules and regulations just like the Muslim women do in the Jewish community. So it's not why you think every time you've seen something there's 1,000 hats. You don't see no scarf or do-rags around a female. You see all men because this is their territory.
You're talking about a specific sect of like Orthodox. They're like beyond like the Hasidic Jews, right?
Yeah, I always say it wrong. Yeah, Hasidic Jews, yes.
Yeah, but imagine, a Hasidic Jew to me would be like, I don't know.
We have no. I have
really,
never ventured to fight, but I know that I've been looking. I was looking up how many different sects of Jews they have.
I would compare them to, I don't know, ISIS. Well, yeah, I would compare them ISIS to like a Sunni or a Shiite, or for, I don't know, black culture. The closest thing would be, I don't know, what was like the Black Liberation Army.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
They are a sect within.
Exactly. Just like exactly, they're like government. They are the government though, or they are. Listen, there is a government, right? Of their own. They have a state, so we know that they have their own. They have a government for their people. They have a government, a system, a set up government. They are recognized as an actual state, as a union, right? And they are in a sovereign union. They have their own rules and regulations. We are being friends with you. But we are being friends with you as America. Why? Because America was built off of what Christopher Columbus, all them do. They was all rapers, murderers. They sent the worst of the worst out here to build this.
All right. Because with our debt, 29% comes from foreign investors. That's like, the people over in Dubai and Qatar and all that stuff. And the old families in France and Europe and stuff like that. And then the U.S. government itself that's funded by the people accounts for 27%. And then there's another 11.2% of the Federal Reserve that is really accounted for by the interests that were gained from the American people. And then you have the U.S. investor. And the U.S. investor is actually 32.5. But when you keep it all in percent, you have 11 at 43, another 27. The U.S. investor is 70% of the country. But a lot of those U.S. investors, I'm talking about out of the $6.89 trillion that they're investing into the national debt, buddy. It's a vast swath. It's a vast swath of people. When we're thinking about, I'm not saying that Hasidic Jews are actually in favor of there being an actual Zionist state of Israel.
Do you think Israel's going to come under fire?
As the way the government ran.
Do you think Israel's going to come under fire for anything that's happening? Besides, come on, stop, guys. It's enough, guys.
I think, honestly, and when we talk about the subject, I did my history base and came up with my own conclusions of what's going on, who's entitled to this and who's entitled to this, and who's entitled to this piece of land and who's entitled to that piece of land. Ultimately, really, just like I said, the powers that be will send their own people to die for a bottom line and for profits that those people that are risking their lives will never, ever see. I've been in war, and I can tell you that, they train you to shoot your target, but when you're over there, if you have any sense of soul in you, you will realize that, hey, if we weren't here for this stupid reason, and me and this guy might be chilling, kicking it, drinking some coffee, and he's telling me about a cricket match, and I'm telling them about how I just missed my parlay last Sunday for football. You know what I mean? We're all fucking people. So the thing that I do like about this whole thing happening is that, our U.S. government has been giving us false facts. Obviously, the state of Israel and their government has been shooting up. That's what governments do. They lie to people. They make shit fucking glory. But the people over there are people that are MAGA style over there. They are really pro-Israel. They're like, this is where I'm from. Like New Yorkers. They are Yankee hat, fitted niggas.
Oh, and shout out to them. Shout out to them. No disrespect. Definitely. Shout out to those who are true and living. But I'm saying to those who are true and living, that's all. Because that's what it comes down to. Those who are really of God's work and of really loving your neighbor and not trying to hurt your neighbor when you don't need everything to survive.
Yeah. there's some over there that's like, yo, I'm really pro. This is our shit. Fucking get off. And then most of them are like, yo, I got a friend. Like, we grew up, we was playing soccer. Like, damn, I can't wait till this shit's over so I can go see my buddies again or go hang out with my pals. You know, and then there's some that are totally peaceful. Like, let's just open up this thing. Like, there's a lot of different people, adults out there. There's a lot of good people and a lot of bad people out there. And we come in a lot of different shapes and colors. And if your group has some advantages, you're like, who the fuck are you not to take these advantages that you were born into? That's what you get.
The person who knows in their heart was the things you don't want to happen to you. The things when you see somebody else in the situation, and if it was you in that situation, you would want somebody to ask you for a ride, ask you, do you want a ride, or ask you if you need a coat. You know, when you're down and out, even when you're rich, you gotta ask somebody. You might need something to get something. You gotta go ask them for something,
right?
And you expect especially when it's whatever it is, you want it back, right? You want it because it's needed, not because it's a want. You need something, right? When we look around the world, we're saying, like you said, we're talking about what was the debt? What was the debt? Where that debt was at again? Where we at?
You're in. I'm at 34 for national debt. Yeah.
All right, so look, so we're looking at something like a debt like this, and this goes back to what Tupac said. This goes back to it
over 21 trillion.
Exactly. So think about what Tupac said, right? He was like, yo, how can people have all of this stuff, all of these things, and then we got people that's hungry, right? They have that, and every community has that. The Jewish community as well, they have it. They all got the same suits on. They be looking raggedy. Some dudes be looking pipped out. A lot of them dudes be looking raggedy. Suits be too big. Got dirt all on the cut. And, they don't care about clothes, but the ones who got it and they think they care. Yeah, so everybody's different. Come on, everybody's different.
Hair tassels got dandruff in it. Right. This guy got the silky tassels. His suit black and his crispy black. His suit
everybody has that. Nigga, you got lint in your hair. You got lint in your hair. You got snot on your nose. You got snot in your face. All you niggas is dirty. You're going to have that in every group.
Dusties everywhere, yeah.
This all, to me, though, in the end, it all comes back to angels and aliens, science and religion. Because a lot of this stuff that's going on, when we're going to say the Jewish community, they're using the base of religion to fund, to spear point the reasonings of why things are happening. This was written, and it was written for us. Right? And when you go there, and when you really look into the dialogue of what we're speaking on, we've seen it so many times where the average Jewish kid has no idea, just like the average white kid knows nothing about Harriet Tubman, because we're not trained to know about each other's history. We're not really geared to know about who we are as a people, as an individual people. We're group. This is a group process type of world we live in. So, I mean, in the end though, like, this is a slave mentality, and this is a slave master mentality we live in. And those who follow the system and believe in the system, and they don't see that what it is, they really believe it's all working for them and it's really for the benefit of them. Those are the ones who are asleep. See, it's the ones who don't know that this is a system. Once you know it's a system, you're like, I get it. I'm getting my butt whipped, and I don't know that I'm getting my butt whipped yet. You get it, I get it. The conundrum.
You get to the conundrum of rich dad, poor dad. Like, yo, this is all fucked up. Exactly. We know. Like, nobody's ever argued with somebody that's been a billionaire that fucked somebody over. And we're talking about a billionaire fucking somebody over means lives have been lost. We know this.
And it's going to continue to happen until the people on a mass level. And what happens is, when things start to irate the community, irate the TV, when it's no longer being able to duck the information, and people start rallying up because they're getting tired. And it's going to be the people. It's not going to be the poor people. It's going to be the middle class people who believed in the system their whole life, and now they're going broke. They're the ones who run up and go blow up whole school systems. They're the ones that go blow up buildings. They ain't worried about some niggas. We gonna go hustle. We gonna go hustle. Yeah. We gonna go hustle. Go get a bed, something. The poor already been dealing with this. They never had the luxuries of life.
The thing is, don't wake up. Don't decide to get angry when you're already poor, when you're already hungry. hungry, when your ribs are already touching your back and you don't have the energy to fight back. Because that's when they're going to flush on you. But you know what? Also, when I was saying this like this, I'm working on something for Thursday, so definitely got a plug. Talking shit, getting clicks, we episodes Thursday night, you know.
Yeah, I put you in the links. You're in the links. You should be in the links already.
One of the things that I was going to talk about is the billionaires that are creating these bunkers, these beautiful, lush doomsday bunkers all of a sudden. And one of the things that I happened upon in an article I was reading about it was that they came with questions. Like, a lot of these guys that build these bunkers would meet up with these super rich guys, and one of them particularly met with a group of billionaires. He did not name them in an article, but one of the questions that they had was that their security, people that are going to be stationed there working for them when all shit is going loose. What the fuck is going to keep that Navy SEAL from saying, nah, nigga, nah, it's the end of the world. It's, you know, the rabbit has the gun now, and this rabbit knows how to use the gun. Like, what is going to keep them from doing that? And then they're already, that is one of the biggest concerns that they had. So that's telling me that they are trying to devise ways that keep they're not worried about the poor people, man. If you're in that tent, they don't care. They're worried about getting everybody out the game. What they want you is that they're going to, I don't know, how could they?
They're going to rebuild the system.
Mind control you.
Nah, they're gonna do. It's gonna be a catastrophe. It's gonna come. They're giving us all type of innuendos. They're filling us out. We got this big rock that's gonna hit us. We got the aliens landing everywhere. They're exposing all of this information and giving us all this information to where they're already getting us looking around. But you know what? You got people that are asleep. I look at this situation with just using the guy from Facebook. What's his name? Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg. Using Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, right? With what he's doing in Hawaii, right? Okay, so isn't that pretty much what happened with Moses? Like, niggas came to him like, yo, listen, you got to go do this, that, third, because it's about to be coming.
Oh, you mean Noah?
Noah, yeah, excuse me, Noah. Yo, it's about to.
You think he's building an ark?
No, I believe. What I know is that when we start getting into this, maybe I should pull some of these up. In the middle, over there in Africa, Asia, we've seen it even in South America, and I'm pretty sure in North America, they have shown where they look like fallout shelters, where people have built in caves and homes and dug down and stuff in caves because something big happened. Yeah. Right? So, and we all know that's been interested in this. Already understand that we already have remnants of being a nuclear dropout here before, and we're not talking about that little Hiroshima thing. Fallout cellar. Right. Yeah, we've seen it to where they said there was a nuclear explosion on Earth. They've looked at it. They've done all the fossil work. They've shown that yes, we've had this amount of radiation at this level that you can only see an atomic bomb could do. That we've seen with Hiroshima. Throughout history, when you start getting to the book of Ezekiel or you start getting the book of Enoch, they talk about beings. We start talking about heaven, and there was a war in heaven and all of this stuff, right? I'm saying the same thing, whether it's religion or whether it's aliens, right? What we're clearly seeing is that something is about to happen, and those with money and power who are at the top and understand are preparing for it. And because we're in a day of multimedia and everything's out there for everybody to see, that we're just knowing about it, and there's nothing we can do about it and that's just what it is. We're watching Noah build the ark. We're watching Noah build the ark. And if you want to believe Noah was the only person and only people that was there was on the boat, cool. But let's just use it with this is not a godly thing and this is an earthly thing. We're about to destroy with pestilence and all the things that they're creating on this earth to get rid of us. Like, something big is going to happen that's going to wipe out a big community. That's what these big billionaires are talking about. There's not enough food. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. Why? How isn't there not enough? All this land all over the world. How isn't there enough fruits? Why we can't grow fruit trees in the regular streets? Why the city's not growing fruit trees and pear trees so anybody can eat if it's food problem?
Oh, was going to talk about that as well.
Oh, so listen, I won't even touch.
Did you know that?
No, I was talking and doing all this stuff. We we brothers, we think alike. We can tap on two subjects, and all this stuff correlates in the end because we're thinkers, we're Geminis, we're thinkers, so it always correlates to something bigger. We don't ever just start and stay in one spot because we don't pivot, we dribble. So hey, man, listen. But let's get out of here, man. We've been rocking on here for a little bit, bro. We was doing it. We got it back in. I put the link in for you.
Oh, man, this is what I was gonna say though.
Let me give a shout out to Ramed and Dave, man. Dave Atkins and Ramed came in here. I wasn't watching the chats, but yeah, Ramed was in here. I'm not playing it live, so I can't see on my screen, and I didn't want to take the chance of looking at it live and it being in the background.
Before we get out of there, though, what you were saying that something big's happening and people are buying these bunkers. What if it's just all a hoax? What if it's all a hoax? What if they're buying these bunkers and ain't shit gonna happen? What if those, like you're saying, these aliens aren't real? Well, first, we've been talking about aliens were real. We've been seeing them, and then now they're finally coming out and we're like, oh, fuck it. We don't give a fuck about aliens anymore. What if it is the only thing that has ever worked to keep the people in mind? What if it is they want us afraid?
Afraid of what?
Afraid and
we're already afraid. We're people that's already afraid. We're afraid of war. We're afraid of poverty.
Because we have the internet now, and we know all the lies. We know that they ain't shit. The people that we revered them not just because they were rich and powerful, but we thought they were rich and powerful, and they were ethical, and they were moral. And we're finding out they ain't shit. We've been finding this out for the last 50 years. That bro, you ain't shit.
Yeah,
and
as long as we've been on the planet,
Yeah, it's going from memoirs and autobiographies to now we're finding out the shit that you did 5 years ago. They're not waiting for niggas to die no more to air the dirty bits. We are finding it out in real time. And we're finding out information more and more how this works. And this is a scam, and we're questioning more. Yeah. And we're questioning more. So you know what? Hey, let's throw on a war. Let's have our moms. Let's have mothers, sons out there and fighting each other to the bloody death so that mom back home and their uncles and the remaining family will keep their heads down and work really fucking hard and try to keep everything together and try to keep their family together instead of questioning why the fuck are we out here. When in 1815, when Napoleon marched and was fighting against the basically the World Banks and how the world was going to be governed, and they made all these things about him, and there's mystery things about him. He's obviously not a good guy. He killed like over 5 million people. I told you the greatest ones that fucking killed the most revered people in history killed the most. But when he went through all of that, and the British government got the people from Austria, Russia, and Prussia to fight him at the Battle of Waterloo to ensure that that battle was won, and thus that they could start their international banking system.
True indeed.
Those 100,000 people didn't know what they were fighting for. And this war that we're going to fight for in World War III or whatever the fuck's coming, most of everybody knows that it's bullshit. Most everybody knows that, hey, even around the world, the government people in China are getting fucked over by their government. They can't get their money and they get quarantined whenever they fucking put a fight.
Right.
We know what happens to us in America when we go out and protest the streets. I know the people on January 6th thought it was going to be sweet, but they found out what the fuck the government does when their own quote unquote people get the fuck out of hand. So how don't everybody just sit here and remember what's going to go on, and before you decide to salute and pick that gun up, before you go off to rush and save a country that ain't yours, because hell, oh my God, China and America and England and Scotland and Ireland and Norway are basically owned by the same 10 fucking people. Why don't you just remember that shit? Just remember it.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
No.
I just want you gotta always remember, right? What was that movie that came out with that where they had a day where everybody gets to kill themselves? Kill each other.
Oh, The Purge.
Okay, so think about this, right? All right, so based off what you just said, the same reason why these kids go into the military or people go work at a job. Because it's all as long as you're doing anything that pays the government money in order, as long as we I can't say vote because they're going to do what they want to do regardless, right?
Yeah,
but if you leave the system, you have to leave the system. What do you think the Jews did? What do you think everybody else has done? They have left the system. America was built off of sending your trash out.
We're not saying Jews. What people are done. You lose it. You use a system. You create your own systems. But you know what? There's a lot of people in the world. And this is how they get you, Sharon. Sharon, they get you in the early age. When you want McDonald's, when your mom says, hey, you ain't got McDonald's money, you realize that, hey, in order to get this money, some people say, in order to get this money, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to steal and kill to get it. And some people say, do what is socially acceptable, and that's just get a job to get there.
Accurate.
Once they say, hey, I got this G.I. Joe, Johnny, you need an extra $1 for that G.I. Joe. Once that shit happens, once you want a G.I. Joe, once you want a Happy Meal, once you want to be a part of and buy the shit that they're selling you.
Exactly.
99.999% of us, including myself, I'm a fucking consumer, bro.
Right.
I can, if I could, I'd have every Funko Pop art. And I don't even fuck with them like that, but I think they're cool. I would have everything I lay my eyes on. I would want all of them. I would want all of the J's. I want all of the Monclers. I want all of the Gucci shades. You want all of them. We got to be honest with ourselves about that. But then you also got to be like, yo, what won't I do for that? And if you say play yourself or play my fucking brother next to me, if you can say that, then that's good. Go get the Gucci. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, listen, at the end of the day, is like you made a great point. We're born into the program. We're born in what like you consider the Matrix. We're born into a system of materialism, and depending on what vessel you come through depends on what your poverty level or your wealth level would be. As a spirit, as a being coming into the planet, you don't have a choice. Wherever you come in at is where you come in at, and whatever you have to deal with, you deal with. But you got to think about it. If the kid has never had to deal with any of this, they are 3 generations wealthy. Their sadness isn't our sadnesses necessarily. You know what I mean?
Listen,
it's like a person in jail and a person in the streets. Their stresses are different.
You kind of gotta feel bad for them at the same time too, because come on, they got niggas trying to knock their heads off too. They just got them doing it civilly, but the most civil niggas do the worst things. So they'll get
their people die. We don't know nothing about this. We don't know nothing about it until we research. Once we start researching, we see
it. Them. They just died a beautiful death. They went off on that yacht and never came back, bro.
Or they go down to see the Titanic and end up living down there with the Titanic.
We live in some totally wicked shit.
Exactly.
I mean, and we're so far in deep. Like only thing I want the solutions. Like we need to brainstorm. Like nothing to me is too fucking unreasonable to come up with. As long as we're coming up with a plan to get out of this bullshit. Like, how do we as a people get out of this bullshit?
Right?
Is it? Do we focus less on hip hop music and Kardashians and stuff like that? Are they always the scapegoat of why we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing collectively as a people to get rid of this bullshit?
It's always something. Steve Harvey, Cat Williams. It's always something.
I think our purpose is just to tell people, like some shit's going on here, Like some shit's going on here, and hey, I found this out, and drop them a link, bro. That's all I can do.
I think I'm going to reconstruct and do just white news. I'm going to do news only on white people. I'm only going to do news on. I'm not going to say just white people. I'm only going to do news now on other people. That's what we need to do. On other people. They do it on us and make millions. Why we can't? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start seeing how their lives are interesting. I'm going to start looking in their lives. And
I don't know.
About their lives.
You know what I like? I love this conversation, and there's so many facets on it. I think you can do at least 10,000 shows on, the federal banking system, and you can start building one of those with the catch-all where you start building the grid of this is connected to this, that's connected to this, and this is connected to this.
That's actually a great idea. That's what it be with me. I need to stay focused. You gotta get me focused though. You gotta get me focused, man.
Same dick. New Angle. That's the new
Whoa,
name
whoa,
of the show. New Angle. They're fucking us, bro. They're fucking us.
That's for sure. That's for sure. They are definitely screwing us.
Same thing. New Angle. Yeah.
Hey, listen, this is the podcast. We've been here for a while. Shout out to the Mimi Gang. Mo 3 times in the building talking shit, getting clicks. He is in the chat. It is at the top. Should be pinned at the top, so it's there. So if you haven't seen it, you see it later on. Make sure you hit that like to subscribe if you like it. Subscribe if you know me, because if you don't, I'm just gonna feel some type of way, because it shouldn't hurt you to subscribe. Now, if you don't know me and you like it, thank you. If you don't like it, then tell me why, and we'll fix it. But like you said, thank you for showing up, showing out. Peace. We out of here.
Peace.